interesting offbeat side of cinema and his natural ability to promote and proselytize for it, which he did well. And Charlie Husky, whose Families Foundation helped sponsor this event, thank you, Charlie. And especially, I want to thank Bill Wooldridge, owner of Video Renaissance Group. Terry, his perfect dream job. Scores of film lovers in Sarasota are grateful that he took a chance on my Maverick, twin brother, excuse me. And he really helped make, and he and Bill really helped make Video Renaissance a source of fun, pleasure, enlightenment, and education with fostering a smart sense of community in this city. He made Video Renaissance what sociologists would call a third place, a refreshing place to go when you got off a crappy day at work, just wanted to hang out, especially, or if you're bored at home, especially if you like good movies, be they foreign, classic, film noir, exploitation, or otherwise. He and Bill helped make Video Renaissance a refreshing antidote to the almost now extinct, bland, and banal blockbuster video. After Terry's untimely death of a stroke on June 1st of last year, it was very comforting for me to be approached around town by hundreds of people I've never met, but who knew Terry from Video Renaissance. And because we were identical twins, it was obvious I was his brother. And they wanted to console me or give me a hug, and believe me, that really meant a lot during a very difficult time. And thank you. And this is the more interesting part. Let me give you some background about Terry's early years in Panama City, where he and I and my oldest brother Bob grew up. And Terry was an artist at an early age. We used to sit on the floor around our family room's round coffee table, doodling for hours. Only he was the better artist. He was influenced by Mad Magazine and Art Chrome. And we also did piano lessons for a few years. And Terry continued to play keyboards with a rather florid touch. And I picked up electric guitar, actually, or I should say loud and vulgar electric guitar, to punish my next door neighbors. In James Middle School, which we attended in 1971 and 72, they used to have basketball games every so often in the gym, and during 5th and 6th period. If you paid 50 cents, you could get a ticket to the game, and woo-hoo, you could miss those 2 periods. Or else you had to go to boarding study hall. Now, the tickets were printed on the most generic kind of cheap blue construction paper, sort of like those movie tickets you used to get in the 60s. I don't know if you remember those. And anyway, so Terry would buy his own construction paper in the same color, and he would cut the construction paper into ticket size. And then he would sit down with his rapidograph pen and write at mid-one, and he was such an expert forger. They looked just like the tickets, but he would sell them to other students for 25 cents. And of course, this made him an artist in demand. And now, eventually, he finally got busted when they did an accounting of sales irregularities, and they figured, because he was the most popular and well-known artist in the school, that he was the suspect in forgeries. But that really didn't matter. Actually, when that was found out, that just made him a superstar to the hip rebellious kids. And students were always asking him to illustrate things for them too. And it's amazing. Terry would wow people by being able to write the complete English novel during the Vietnam War era, the Yippies, Chicago 7, and everything. And we loved underground music. We loved Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. Terry even joined their fan club, the wonderfully named United Mutations. And I'm sorry, here's the only profanity in the speech. We enjoyed the profane Bohemian rock poets, the Thugs. whose and when we whose music really irritated my conservative parents, because when my dad heard us playing their song "River of Shit" in our room, he went ballistic. And we were into early National Lampoon magazine when they were actually funny, and Cream magazine, and the art movements, Dada and Surrealism. And we were also absolute music freaks when we were teenagers. When a neighborhood record store opened up in our shopping center, local shopping center, we were elated. We were always hanging around there. Customers would come in and ask for a certain song and didn't know the artist. But Terry or I would pop up and say, for instance, "Oh, that's Nelson. Here's the record." And we did it so often that eventually the manager asked, "Do you guys want a job?" And we answered, "Sure. Will you pay us in records?" And well, so anyhow, don't worry, we're almost done. Right after high school, we graduated. After we graduated from high school, the former manager of that Panama City record store called us and told us he was working at a huge record superstore in Atlanta called Peaches, and they were going to open one in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And hey, do you guys want to work there? And we desperately wanted to get out of the conservative backwater of Panama City, and we said, hell yes. So, with our parents' blessing, we packed up our Chevy Vega and moved to Fort Lauderdale and started working at the biggest record store we'd ever seen. At age 18, Terry had the job of being the store artist, doing displays and promotional signs. In the 1980s, Terry moved to Sarasota to attend the Ringling College of Art and Design. It was a very creative and inventive time for him. He was experimenting with all kinds of media, like avant-garde Xerox manipulations, using Brian Eno's oblique strategy cards to influence his artistic choices. In 1994, Terry's roommate, Rob Van Alcameda, was leaving to go to film school in New York. And Rob, by the way, later directed a documentary, very good, called "What Would Jesus Buy?" about performance evangelist Reverend Billy in the Church of Stock Shocking Gospel Choir. And Terry needed a roommate, so I left my college town of Gainesville, and I moved in with him. And he was the best roommate ever, as usual, and he was hardly ever at home. He was always at Video Renaissance, 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. When he got off work, he always brought a couple of interesting movies home to watch. And certain customers with illustrious backgrounds loved him. For instance, Atlantic Records founder and legendary record producer Jerry Wexler, who had retired here, was always dropping off promotional CDs and mixes of out-of-print jazz and R&B for Terry, and tons of them. And two of Terry's most endearing qualities to film enthusiasts were his remarkable depth of knowledge, and his incredible memory. Someone could say, "Oh, it's a black and white film from the 50s set in the Korean War with American soldiers hiking through a lot of mud." And he'd ask a few more questions, and then he'd nail the right movie almost every time. One of my favorite comments in his memorial guest book really illustrates this. It's a portion of a comment by Paula Johns. It says, whenever a question came up about a movie or TV series, we could always say, Terry will know, because he always did. Last week I remember a double bill of B crime films we had watched together from Republic Studios. I recall Crash Out with William Bendix, a good prison escape movie. But the other one I couldn't remember, so I Googled the Republic filmography. And I couldn't find it, but I know that I had a phone line to the hereafter. I could call him, and in a second he'd rattle off the title. And in closing, because this is a film festival event, I wanted just to briefly mention a few of Terry's favorite movies. He was a film omnivore, he liked so many. So I can just give you a short list. Otherwise I could go on for days and you'd hate me. He loved movies from the Sublime, such as Max Ophuls' deliriously mesmerizing and elegant Laurent, and he loved Ikiru, Kurosawa's movie film about a dying Japanese businessman whose final goal in life is to turn a mosquito-infested cesspool into a children's playground. I didn't do that. And he also loved the ridiculous, like A Day with Judy with Jane Powell, and action film Stone Cold with former NFL football player Ryan Bosworth, and the absolute worst hillbilly porn movie ever made called Bat Pussy, which is so bad, I think John Waters would really enjoy it. I think he'd agree with this. But it's 3 must-watch movies, and he told me this on one of our long ride home for Christmas. They were Creature from the Black Lagoon, Romance on the High Seas with Doris Day, and Annie Morrison sang the song from that movie, It's Magic, at Terry's memorial service. Very nice. And the one film, it's amazing, the one film he told me he watched the most was the classic Christian Knight 1951 movie, The Thing from Another World, better known as just The Thing. He said he's seen it over 40 times. And you know how bad service can be these days, and the lack of knowledge of many so-called professionals. But Terry was like the finest breakfast librarian, film historian, and video manager rolled into one. And Dale Jacobs, a professor of film at Florida State College, wrote about Terry that he was a golden resource for students who learned as much as from their visits to Video Renaissance as they did from some college film classes. And he was the most engaging conversationalist, and he was the ultimate concierge of entertainment needs and local art. He was witty, generous, and very kind as well. And that's just a few of the reasons we miss him. So, and an appreciation of the surreal and absurd and subversive humor. He'd be very proud and honored to have Todd Rowell be the first recipient of the Terry Porter Visionary Award for his film, The Catechism. Catechism, thank you. And Tom?
So it's going to make, we're going to make a film title you can't pronounce or read at all. It's a difficult title, and that's what I think. For me, I didn't know Terry, but I've been hearing a lot about him, and I certainly knew people like him that